Tonight we recognize Thomas Robert Vaucher. And why recognize Bob? He might be the first person to ask that question. It's quiet. He's not assuming, he's a regular guy. Bob was a regular guy who wound up in the Army Air Force in 1941. He flew B-17s, B-18s, B-24s. He flew 117 combat missions over the North Atlantic, the Caribbean, India, the Pacific, China, Southeast Asia, Marianas. 26 of those missions were over the Himalayas, the hump. Rocks make their home in the clouds, the hump. Then Bob was trained to fly B29 bombers that brought a resolute foe to their knees. Just taking off from bases hastily built on Tinian and Guam and B29 put every crew member in mortal peril. If an engine quit, the aircraft could not maintain altitude with a full load of bombs and fuel. It would crash, and chances are everyone on board would lose their life. And once that aircraft got anywhere near Japan, people would try to kill you. This was very serious flying. Toward the end of the war, Bob was promoted to lieutenant colonel and became operations officer of the 462nd Bomb Group. To give an idea of the respect that he earned in that capacity, Colonel Vaucher's final mission was on September 2nd, 1945. He was selected to be commander, the pilot, of the lead aircraft of the show of force, heading the greatest armada in history, 525 B-29s, accompanied by hundreds of other aircraft, over the USS Missouri in Tokyo Bay as the Japanese signed a formal surrender. Bob's commanding officers thought so highly of his capability that they put him at the tip of the spear. That's not all. If you're lucky enough to get the daily record, which is a Morris County rag, front page, below the fold, Bridgewater World War II combat pilot to enter the Aviation Hall of Fame.
Wow. The only thing you left out of that generous introduction is my combat call sign. I'm Victor Abel, Uncle Charlie, how easy Roger, calling all chickens to the hen house. And we're all ready to go into the target when you say that. Holy smokes. In my wildest dreams, I wouldn't have thought that I would be standing up here at 95 years of age. At my 90th birthday party, I invited many of you to celebrate with me at my 100th. But I'm so glad you could all be with me tonight in this interim. I have been allotted 5 minutes. It was 46 days ago when I was told about this, and this is my 47th speech that I've composed. Those of you who have heard my wartime talks know that that is mighty restrictive, 5 minutes. The Academy Awards that you've seen Oscar recipients attempt to name anyone under the sun until they are forcefully ushered off the stage. I always imagine them thinking, oh my God, I forgot to mention Bob Vaucher. But that's not my concern tonight. All of my aviation mentors are in heaven. However, I would like to tell you a bit about those who have instilled in me a love of adventure and especially of aviation. My parents were real adventurers. My mother's family joined the famous Weyerhaeuser wagon train that pioneered out of Ohio to the Oregon Trail, and Weyerhaeuser became the lumber king of the world. After graduating from Iowa State College in 1897, and then teaching school, she went to work as one of the first women at Sears and Roebuck in Chicago. There she marched in the front row of the Michigan and down Michigan Avenue with the suffragettes for the women's right to vote at 1900. My father graduated from a technical institute in Switzerland and became a horticulturist. He immigrated to Chicago and became head of propagation at Garfield Park. It's still one of the largest conservatories in the nation. My mother became an English tutor and ended up marrying her student, my father. I was 9 years old when Lindbergh flew the Atlantic, and he became my idol. My fascination with aviation was fueled when my older sister began dating a crop duster and barnstormer named Slats. There were three great aviation visionaries who influenced me, and they were General Hap Arnold, General George Marshall, and General Curtis LeMay. Hap Arnold foresaw the airplane becoming an important military instrument and started guiding youth into aviation through a flying club called the Flying Club of America around 1934. I joined by mail, got a badge, a model airplane kit, and a newsletter. By 1935, Marshall started the Citizens Military Training Camp to instill military principles into teenagers. I went to 2 summer camps at Camp Bullis, Texas. During one mock military maneuver, our artillery unit was pinned down in Poison Oak by enemy planes. I said to myself, those guys will be back at base in San Antonio, shower, go to dinner, and take their girlfriend to the movies tonight. And here I am pinned down in a bed of Poison Oak, missed my lunch, and probably will have K rations for dinner. So that's exactly when I decided I would learn to fly. The Air Corps required a college degree, so I went off to Pan American College. Hap Arnold started a pilot training program for students. 2 other boys, myself and a girl, signed on, learned how to fly, got a pilot's license, and with 2 college credits to boot. A few months later, I graduated, and I was immediately recruited to join the Army Air Corps. General LeMay, who at that time was a major, as you know, he became chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He was considered the top dog bomber pilot, triple-rated pilot, navigator, and bombardier, and a real taskmaster. By 1939, the winds of war were at gale force, and on December 7th, 1941, I started a 4-year odyssey around the world. My 117 combat missions culminated in being an Air Force commander of 525 B29s in the show of force over the Japanese surrender ceremony over the battleship Missouri. Well, I think my 5 minutes are up, but I want to add one thing. I'm probably one of the oldest persons alive who flew out of Newark Airport when there was a tin hangar on the east side of the north-south runway up toward the north end. And I landed there in July of 1941 in an Army plane. Nobody, it was a Saturday afternoon, nobody came out to meet me. I parked the airplane, I went in and I asked the man at the desk, I said, is it all right if I leave that airplane out there? And he looked out there and he said, we'll take care of it. I would like to add, I am probably, well, I already gave you that line. Before they shepherd me off stage, I want to extend my thanks to the board of directors of the New Jersey Aviation Hall of Fame and say how humble I am to have received this honor. I served with a great many aviators in the Air Corps, and especially in the B29 program. I can probably name 10 others who are more deserving, but fortunately for me, they don't live in New Jersey.